my dears. It's going to be a different kind of vlog this week. I'm actually going to be vlogging my read of A Court and a Frost of Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. I have heard a ton of really bad things about this book, and I'm super nervous because I'm kind of trash for Sarah's writing, but I wanted to vlog throughout the day or the next couple of days or however long it takes me to trudge through this and let you guys know kind of what I'm thinking about it. I am very well aware this is a novella. It's supposed to bridge the gap between the ending of the ACOTAR series and the beginning of the new series, but I wanted to sit down and kind of vlog my thoughts. I don't know if anybody's interested in this. I don't know if anybody will watch this video, but I wanted to have it for my records for later, which is most of my YouTube channel is just literally me vlogging things for later so that I have them for my memories or, you know, what I'm thinking of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy that kind of video anyway, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started on reading this as soon as I am done editing the videos for this week. I just got done filming, hence why I'm in this ridiculous getup right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this as soon as possible, and I will check in with you guys on what I'm thinking from what I'm reading. So I'm only on literally page 1. And I'm already just rolling my eyes. I don't know if it's because people didn't like this book going into it or what, but I'm already bored. Like, Feyre, this chapter is told from Feyre's perspective, and she's talking about the first snow in Valeris, which is awesome. Whatever. I guess it's like winter time, like Christmassy time, which doesn't make any sense because it's 89 degrees out today, so I'm like not even there right now. But she says, the ground had finally frozen solid last week. This is the second sentence. And by the time I'd finished devouring my breakfast of toast and bacon, washed down with a heady cup of tea, the pale cobblestones were dusted with fine white powder. I'm not relating to this. And then she talks about, once I had dreaded that first snow, had lived in terror of long, brutal winters, but it had been a long, brutal winter that had brought me so deep into the woods that day nearly 2 years ago. A long, brutal winter that had made me desperate enough to kill a wolf, that had eventually led me here, to this life, this ... happiness. I don't know if it's just been so long since I read a book by Sarah, but this seems like it's not written the best to me. It doesn't really fit the mold of things that I've previously read from her. That's page 1. So I feel like this might be a very long read for me. I don't know. Like I said, it's only page 1. I could fall in love, but from what I've heard of this book, it's mostly Rhysand trying to sleep with Feyre pretty much the entire fucking time. So we'll see if I like it. But so far, page 1, already rolling my eyes. Already off to a wonderful start. So we're on page 2 and I'm already even more annoyed. So on these 2 pages, on pages 2 and 3, she points out that she's High Lady of the Night Court twice. I was High Lady of the Night Court, yes, but also one blessed with gifts of all the courts. It seemed winter now wanted to play. Cool. And then she goes on to say our most favorite sentence. My mate, who had worked so hard and so selflessly, all without hope that I would ever be with him. I feel like this is just placating people who really just love the Rhysand and Feyre thing. And I've heard some complaints that this is written sort of like a fanfic, and I can kind of see it. I think it's kind of cool when authors do stuff that is like this, like they're really just trying to make us happy. Like, I think that's really awesome, but for some reason, I don't really like it. It says, we had both fought for that love, bled for it, Rhys had died for it. Rhys, whatever. Guys, I'm like internally cringing right now. So a lot of people said this book was mostly smut, and I'm already starting to see it. I'm on page 14 now. Yes, I'm checking up a lot because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of grievances at the beginning. But I am on this chapter, first chapter, second chapter? It's from Rhysand's perspective, but he says, I jerked my chin at Cassian, indicating for him to follow me to the house across the camp that we now kept as our semi-permanent base of operations. Okay. There wasn't a surface inside where I hadn't taken Feyre, the kitchen table being my particular favorite thanks to those raw initial days after we'd first mated, when I could barely stand to be near her, and not buried inside of her. How long ago, how distant those days seemed. Another lifetime ago. I needed a holiday. Snow and ice crunched under our boots as we aimed for the narrow 2-level stone house by the tree. Not a holiday to rest, not to visit anywhere, but just to spend more than a handful of hours in the same bed as my mate. There's that word again, my mate. To get more than a few hours to sleep and bury myself in her. It seems to be one or the others these days, which was utterly unacceptable and had turned me about 20 kinds of foolish. I'm gonna go ahead and say, Akamath, one of my favorite books of all time, including the smut. The smut was great. Like, it was done so well. I mean, it was like chapter upon chapter. Like, when I thought it was done, there was another chapter of it. So it was a little, like, mind-boggling. I'd never read anything that had that much in it. But, you know, you grow accustomed to it. You get used to it. It's fine. But from what I've heard, this book is pretty much a ton of that, and I don't know if I'm gonna want to read that. I have this idea of Rhysand in my mind, like he's strong, you know, he's a horn dog, whatever, but I don't want to read only that side of things. Like, I'm glad Cassian was in this chapter. Cassian's my favorite. He's my favorite character in the entire series, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna like this book. I'm already not liking it, and it seems so empty. The writing style is so empty and boring. Rhysand's chapters are done a little bit better. Like, they're written a little bit better. That's my big issue with this, is the way that it's written. But I have to say, it's just really not that great so far. And I know it's like a guilty pleasure thing for a lot of people. Like, it's not really supposed to be that great, but my issue with the book is not that it's short, that it's a novella. I don't care. It's that it's written like she forcefully rushed it, and I don't know. I gotta be brutally honest. So far, I'm really fucking bored and really just like already over the high lady mate buried deep inside her shit. So I'm gonna keep reading. Little bit of a late check-in. Sorry, I was Skyping with Sam and Sid. We were going over Hypernaut stuff, and we were brainstorming like video ideas for my YouTube channel, and you guys know that I absolutely love them, but I wanted to get on here real quick and talk about what I'm reading in the book. Obviously, I'm on page 74, so I've gone through a couple of chapters. There's a few things about this book that are really, really bugging me. The first thing that I can think of is there's been like chapters from, you know, each person, like perspective-wise. Like, we've had Cassian, we've had Rhysand, and we've had Feyre. And I feel like there's not a whole lot of character development. There are things that happen, like Feyre talks about possibly painting again, and that's all fine and dandy, and then Moore kind of gives us a little bit more backstory on what happened to her, and it's just like never addressed again. It's just like a flashback that she has, and like I don't know. And then all we've had from Rhysand is him essentially being a horn dog, and they're talking about things that Tamlin's going to do, which I imagine are probably more pertinent to the next part of the series, or maybe even further on in this book, although I don't really know how it could be, considering I'm 74 pages in, so I'm almost halfway done with the book, and it's like, how much more can you possibly fit in at this point? And the other thing that's really bugging, like really, really bugging me about it, is the change in perspective. Not the change in characters, but like part of the things that they're, like the story is like, what, for example, like when I was reading Moore's part, it was told in third person, and then in other parts it's told in first person, and like Feyre stuff is told in first person, and I don't understand why the change in perspective. I feel like it takes you out of the story, like as you're reading it. It's gonna be really hard to finish this. I'm gonna try to read a lot of it tonight and then probably finish it tomorrow. It's only 200 pages, but like it's driving me absolutely insane already, so we'll see if I'm able to get through it. But those are the things that are really irking me right now. The only thing that I'm really liking is it's fun. It's like fluffy. Like I said, it's like a connection between the first series and the next series. But like for me, it's just, I don't know. I don't really know if I need this book, but it's something that I need. And like I said, it's not because it's a novella, because I've read some great novellas. This is just not that great. So we'll see if I'm able to finish it tonight and what I'm thinking of it. And I keep thinking that because it's fluffy, I need to read it like that. But honestly, I don't read anything like that. So we'll see what I think of it. So ignoring the, what is that called? Lawnmower in the background. Sorry, my husband is mowing the lawn. I am on page 124. And it's getting a little bit better. It's not as terrible as it was yesterday. I'm definitely not enjoying it like I thought I would enjoy it, but it's not bad. Feyre finally went and painted for the first time. We finally got to talk a little bit more to Amryn and get a little bit more on Moore and Rhys. But the problem that I'm having with this book now is Nesta. I feel like, I don't know, I just find her situation really frustrating. I feel like it's probably natural to react that way. I feel like it would go one way or the other. Either you'd be really excited to be a part of the court and like want to have your family back, or you'd be really pissed off. And she, obviously because of what happened in the last one, has a lot more power and doesn't really know what to do. But it actually just bugs me that she's just living in this like seedy part of town and is pretty much a hoe. Not that I care, like, honestly, like, sexual, like, people being hoes, per se, doesn't bug me. I feel like that's within our right to do, and I don't think anybody should be judged for it. But the fact that Sarah went this way with it is kind of bugging me, especially because Moore doesn't, there's no backstory, like, there's no more information on Moore. Like, all they ever talk about is, like, in the beginning, Feyre says something like, do you have somebody special that you want to bring, and, like, try not to push her to essentially come out of the closet, and I'm like, I feel like Sarah missed a really big opportunity, at least so far. I'm only, like I said, I'm only on page 125, but I feel like she missed like a big opportunity with that, and I feel like she just missed a lot of opportunities. Like, I don't know. I mean, you're getting a little bit more information. I can see like the whole bridging the gap thing, but as of right now, I'm pretty disappointed with the lack of content in this. I mean, things are happening, and there's like sort of little things that are happening, like Rhysand goes to visit Tamlin, and that, you know, you find out that Tamlin's pretty much in shambles, and Lucien is like going to visit him for the solstice so that he's not alone, and like, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like completely bored. Like, I don't care about a lot of the things that are happening. So it is like a nice little fluffy, we get to experience everybody in like a different kind of way thing, but I'm not really enjoying it. It is Wednesday. Wednesday is here. I am still reading A Court of Stupid and Stupid. I'm on page 154, and the only complaint that I still have about the whole book, the only thing that's really, really getting to me, is the use of mate. Everything is mate. Now, I understand you can't say husband because obviously there's more gravity to the situation that they're in. There's more meaning behind them being coupled together. I get that, but I feel like there's another way to say this, or even reworking the sentence in a way that you don't have to say something like that. You don't have to say mate or any other word. I feel like this book was really, unfortunately, just like thrown together. I am liking that Amren and Nesta kind of have this like secret friendship thing going on. I think that's kind of cool. I feel like Amren would be who I would confide in if something like this was happening. So far there has been no sex in this book. There's been a lot of like, you know, like comments made in Rhys's head or in like Feyre's head and stuff, but no like sex has necessarily happened. From what I've heard, this book is full of it, so I haven't seen any. So I'm wondering if the second half of the book is just going to be nothing but sex. We'll see. I only have about 50 pages left, so I will check in with you guys when I'm actually done with the book and let you know my full thoughts on everything. So, it is done. I have finished this book. It took me 3 days to read a little over 200 pages. If that doesn't say how I felt about this book, I don't know what will. Things that I liked about this book are you get a little bit of interactions from people that you don't normally get to see. There's a little bit of building on the original 3 books. You get like Cassian and Nesta interacting, you get like more interacting and kind of going over her life and where she wants to go. Other than that, I was pretty fucking bored. This book is definitely just fluff. It's 100% fluff. There's nothing really in this that says anything. Rhysand at the end like buys a house and they talk about having babies, and that's fine and dandy, but I don't even know really who's in the next series. We don't even know like if it's gonna be a series. Is it gonna be a series? Somebody tell me down below. But I was just really bored with it. I really didn't like the ellipses, like the ... that was in every single page had like a ... in it. It really annoyed me. I found the sex scene, the one sex scene in the book, incredibly cringy. Like, I'm not shy about sex. Like, I don't care, obviously. Like, I'm a married woman. I'm almost 30 years old. You know, it's not a thing for me, but it was really cringy and I didn't like it. And I felt really bad for Cassian the whole time because he's my favorite character and I feel like he's getting the short end of the stick for this series. And I didn't like the little bit of Lucien we got to see. I didn't like Tamlin. The Tamlin was in this book at all. It just seemed very empty. I feel like a lot of the things that are happening, because there's such a jump from this book into the next series, I think it's like 6 or 9 months or maybe like a year or something like that. I don't understand how a lot of this is going to be pertinent. I just don't like it. I did not like this book. I think I'm gonna give it like maybe 2 stars because I liked that there was like fluff, but like, did we really need this book? No, we didn't. We could have just gone into the new series. I didn't read the chapters at the end of the book for the next series. I just want to go into that blind. I might not even pick up that series, so I don't know, but yeah, that's what I felt of this book. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was pretty freaking pointless, so I don't know if I'm going to continue with it, but I did finish this book. So if you want my full review, it will be on my Goodreads. You guys can read that there, but that is what I thought, and that ends this vlog. Thank you guys for watching. If you have read this book, let me know down below what you thought of it, especially if you liked it. I want to know why you liked it. Like, how did you rate it? Like, did you rate it in a very critical way? Did you rate it on enjoyment? Let me know down below.